Joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline to relive that game and to get his thoughts on what he saw is BYU basketball great Jackson Emery. Jackson, welcome to the program, man. We appreciate you joining us after an emotional weekend.
Yeah, guys. Hey, not very often do ex-players get to come on after you beat the number one team in the country. I think this is the first time, actually, so I'm honored to be the first time to do that.
The first ever. Hey, here we go. What was it like for you to watch BYU beat the number one team in the country for the first time in program history?
Guys, I mean, it was a historical moment. I mean, obviously this year is not the year that a lot of the Cougar fans wanted, but I mean, overall, Cougar fans should be really excited. They had something that this team is known by is they might not have won all their games this year, but they fought until the end. And I tell you what, the 18-2 at the beginning didn't feel good at all. It didn't feel good. At that point, I was just like, if we could just cut it to 10 and just keep it within 10, I'm good with that. And then once we cut it to 10, I was like, if we cut it to 4, and I just kept playing that game with myself in my head. And then if we could just go up 1, and I mean, you know how it is. It's just greed, right? You just want to get more and more out of it.
Our Twitter question is this, Jackson. What was your favorite moment from BYU's upset versus Gonzaga?
Oh, man. There were so many just, like, great individual moments from, TJ hitting some deep threes, to my brother not shooting well and hitting back-to-back threes, to Mika I loved Mika just staring down the crowd, flexing at the crowd, staring at him, smiling. I mean, I don't know if there's, like, one person in particular or if it was just the section in general. I loved Elijah's slash to the hoop at the end. And then Corbin's putback was by far one of the best, just skying up, grabbing it, doing a reverse layup. I mean, so many of those moments I think we'll all take away, and they all had significant impact throughout the game.
I love that the game is over, and Nick still steals the ball at the very last moment and throws it up. I thought that was just a punch a mother down kind of moment there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you got to do that. It's about a lot of times in these games, mental games, you don't want them to get any momentum. You don't want them to get any satisfaction. Plus, I don't even know. Maybe he's thinking, hey, if I can get an extra steal and get closer to my brother's record, I'm going to do that as well.
That was his motivation, no doubt.
Former Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year, one of the greats to put on a BYU basketball uniform, Jackson Emery, with us on BYU Sports Nation. How would you rate your level of shock or surprise that BYU actually pulled off that upset on the road?
Oh, my goodness. Scale 1 to 10, 10 being super shocked. I was probably about a 6 or 7, to tell you the truth. And it had nothing to do with the talent. I think talent-wise, we are, just as talented as Gonzaga. I don't think we've consistently played like Gonzaga. I think we play about 30, 31 minutes a game, where those guys play about 38, 39 minutes a game consistently. But I feel like talent-wise, we matched up with them really well. I feel like we always match up well with Gonzaga. So I'm usually not too scared to play them, but when it's senior night, when you've beaten them the last couple times there, when they're going for a 30-0 record, I felt like all of that would get these guys amped up, which they were. I mean, hence the 18-2 run at the beginning of the game. But I was extremely shocked at how well our guys responded and how they didn't. I mean, I didn't feel like they played into any of the antics. I don't feel like they got frustrated. I felt like they were just having fun and playing loose once they understood, like, hey, this is just another team. We just got to play, guys. And they did that and got the win, fortunately.
The oddest thing about BYU winning there is that they've done it 3 times in a row. And Gonzaga's been top 15 each time. They've been top 5, top 3 twice. I mean, what is it with BYU in Spokane, Jackson? Dave Rose has those guys ready every time.
Right? I mean, I don't even really know, to tell you the truth. I don't know if it's hey, it's the last game of the season. We got to do this. I mean, I'm in shock as well, trying to figure that out, because, you're like, what happens in Pepperdine? Why can't we go win down there?
Yeah. Pepperdine is a tougher game on the road than Gonzaga. What the heck?
Yeah, what the heck, right? I mean, we have a worse record there. I mean, so it's just like, how are we going to Gonzaga? And I think, honestly, to tell you the truth, it's, when you go into a gym and it's not very full, which a lot of these gyms are, it's hard to create your own emotion. and get amped up, and your focus, I believe, is lost for a little bit. And I think that's what happens in some of these other gyms. But when you go into the Kennel and there's that atmosphere and it's just that electricity from the crowd and the other team, I think that's what just ignites our guys and gets them excited to play. And they should be doing that every game, but I think in that specific game it helps them out quite a bit.
Jackson Emery with us on BYU Sports Nation. What did you see last week in the Portland and Gonzaga games from this team that gives you the most hope for what this group is capable of in the future?
I would say the biggest thing would be balance. I feel like for the first time we're seeing 3, 4, or 5 guys click at the same time. Eric's been the most consistent this year. He's played awesome. Nick and TJ, they've been awesome at times, other times not so much. And then I feel like finally with Elijah getting some experience, finally getting in a rhythm. That guy had a torn meniscus, deep knee bruise. He's just never been able to get into a rhythm. And I feel like right now he's comfortable. He's playing great. Nick and TJ are, playing more consistent. And I think overall we're just seeing a balanced force play basketball and put the ball in the basket, as well as a bench that comes in and gives us a lot of energy. So I was really excited to see that against Portland, and then I was really excited to see it against Gonzaga, because all these guys needed was a confirmation that they're good. They're a good team. They got a lot of talent, and I'm hoping now this flips the switch going into this weekend.
No matter what your love language is, everyone likes words of affirmation, and that was a game of affirmation for the young group, right? Now they head to Vegas.
Love language, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Physical touch of the basketball, right? Yeah, awesome. BYU heads to Vegas now. What kind of momentum do you think they take down there when they play LMU Saturday?
I mean, biggest thing to take away is, hey, we can beat any team. Any team. I mean, if you beat the number 1 team in the country, you can beat the number 2 team, the number 3 team. So that's what those guys should understand. But they should also understand from their losses this year, you could be that team that gets beat by LMU. They can beat anyone if they get hot, right? So I'm hoping these guys go in there with a lot of confidence. They're playing well together. They have a lot of excitement. They're having fun. Then they take it one game at a time. Go focus on LMU. And then Monday, it's most likely St. Mary's. St. Mary's couldn't even come close to Gonzaga, really, those 2 games. So that should tell you, hey, we can beat these guys. And they beat us twice. To beat a team 3 times in a row is extremely difficult. As, we found out my senior even just playing San Diego State. And then going into Tuesday, obviously, you've awakened a tired dragon or a sleeping dragon or whatever you want to call Gonzaga at this point. But it should tell these guys that if you play together, if you play hard, you play well, you can beat anyone.
What was your conversation like with your brother Nick after the Gonzaga win?
Well, I mean, first off, I knew that we were going to have dinner Sunday night at my parents'. So I was like, I'm just going to shoot him a text, let him enjoy it with his team. It's one of those things after the game you want to enjoy with your guys in the locker room and just want to enjoy the moment. Even though your phone's being blown up by friends and family, and these guys are on social media even more so. Just sent him a text, told him, great job, way to, keep your head, way to keep your composure. Things weren't going exactly how you probably would hope they would go, but you had big shots, you made big plays down the stretch. And that's what it takes at times to beat these types of teams, is just wait for your moment and make sure you stick it when you get it.
The Lone Peak 3 specifically interacted a lot with the Gonzaga student section. Eric Mika was talking to them. Nick was staring at them. TJ was sarcastically clapping at them. What did you think of that interaction from those 3 specifically?
Oh, that was funny. I mean, they always showed Mika, whether it was flexing at him or giving the Drago stare down or whatever. But, it just depends. I'm all fun. Jimmer did that all the time, screaming at the crowd and stuff. And if you can control your emotions, stay focused on the game, and not get frustrated and let that take you out of it, I'm all for it. It's part of the entertainment. It's part of the fun of basketball. But if you allow it to get to you, or you allow the crowd to distract you from the game, that's where, I usually have my issues. But I think those guys did a good job of just letting him beat them and just having fun with it, right? And I think at the end of the day, hey, if they want to do that and they want to beat the number one team in the country, power to you. Go do whatever you want, right?
Jackson, it's great to talk to you after a big win. One of the biggest wins in BYU basketball history rather than after a tough loss. So let's do this type of interview more often.
Yeah, hey guys, let's make this a rule. Anytime we beat the number one team in the country, I'll come on.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
Done. Solidified. Thanks, Jackson.